Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you very much for joining me to this short-term outlook on commodities. In this webinar I shall be talking about energy and metals. Energy will be the West Texas Intermediate crude, and with metals I'll be taking a look at gold and silver. Before we begin, I would just like to make a note that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. The West Texas Intermediate crude started last week with an ongoing losses as the US shale drillers continue to add rigs along with Libya and Nigeria ramping up production and undermining OPEC's efforts to reduce output and support prices. The WTI oil price had recently hit a 7-month low, as you can see here, which comes in at 42.08 before staging the last 3 days short current recovery. Also to note that last Friday Baker Hughes reported that this 22nd week in a row that US drillers have added further rigs. So looking to this current bearish technical pattern, you can see here that although the stochastic has given us a positive crossover, we still need to break through this downtrend which comes in around 43.60. If we get a break above there, then this would support the next target of $44.4060 and reassess from there. My only concern at the moment is if we look at the broader picture, looking at the weekly, is that the technical are still quite negative. And if we see another close towards the end of the week on a negative sentiment, then this would give further implications towards the downside, and not looking at a target of 41.5, but could come into a target around $35 a barrel and reassess from there. But for the start of this week, as I mentioned, the technicals are actually showing some bias to the upside, and if we do clear that 43.60, then the next target to look for would be 44.4060. Well, the gold price action over the last week has been relatively bullish, and since staging a recovery off the lows around 1,240, the market is now looking towards a target of 1,260.62 for this week. With that being said, we could actually see it a little bit higher, 1,266, and reassess from there. Any pullback should find immediate support now at 1,247 to 49, and with a base now forming around 1,239 to 41. And to finish up with silver, well, last week we discussed whether silver prices had established a base from $16.30. Well, from what we can gather here over the last few days is that you can see the market has. And from there, likely to see this level hold for the coming session. And into most of this week, I expect to see further upside challenges now that the market has achieved its target of $16.70. Now looks to its next at $16.85.95. As the technical implications, as I mentioned, are bullish, any pullback should likely to be shallow, with the immediate support seen at $16.45, and then lower where the bullish foundations hold, as I mentioned, at $16.30. So that wraps up my commodity view. Thank you very much for joining me.